One of the first things I like to say is that I'm not a Bigfoot guy. At least I wasn't when this all started. I was just a language guy, language teacher, who had spent a career in the Navy transcribing the human voice on tape. When it's pitch black out there on a mountain, it sounds like this. Now that we're pretty sure is the female talking, and then the male interjecting. What they've done is they picked one guy. He says, "You go stand by the stove, by the food, and you get their attention. You make them come down to you. Hey, come get some dinner, you know." And while we sneak up and try to trick them and put the microphone closer. Well, now, years after the fact, we know you can't trick them. By the way, these frequencies, again, have been studied. These are way beyond the ability of humans to produce these sounds. Now, we were trained to do this, you know, in the crypto community of the military, we're trained to do this. And we're actually even trained to be able to recognize other languages that are not our target language. And there are times that we are required to transcribe out in the field, transcribe languages that we've never studied, so that we can send it back to NSA, in those days, NSA, right, to have it analyzed. But you have to send it to the right people. So you have to know, is this a Slavic language? Is it an Asian language? Is it, you know, Germanic, etc.? So these are things that we're trained in. Real time. Ron's routine and continuing request of me. He says, "Scott, I just want to know what they're saying. You got to tell me what they're saying. We want to know what they were saying to us out there that night, because we know they were trying to communicate with us." And I've had to tell Ron, there's no way that we can know. The only way that you can verify actual syntactical meaning is to sit down with the speaker, especially when we're doing what we have to call radical translation. He said, "It sounds like apes fighting to me." He says, "How can you hear language in there?" Because it did. To the average ear, it would sound like. But I taught at a military college, so I often had my kids come and hang out with me in the classroom. He says, "Dad, what do you think Bigfoots sound like?" So I said, "Well, let's Google it." And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And I became silent, so that my son was actually worried about me. And I went back, I played it again. And I went back and I played it again. And it was only a morpheme stream of maybe 5 seconds. But in that 5 seconds, my whole paradigm changed. And then right at the end, you'll hear what we believe is the big male get really angry and aggressive. So while this is all going on, while the humans are out there at first, the SAS are silent, observing, which they seem to be very good at doing. That might be the best thing to do, is observe the behavior of humans.